Good Wednesday morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing. Looking at our fire potential impacts, we have no significant impacts, still being quite gusty, 30 to 40 miles per hour across parts of Idaho and Wyoming and northern Utah, but that's where significant rainfall and high humidity has really tempered our fuels. There could be some gusty winds returning Sunday. It will dry out in some areas, so our concerns will be more in the longer term range, so nothing in the immediate future, and we'll go over some of that right now. Starting with precipitation, the past 24 hours, fairly light overall, just some scattered showers here in the far northern Utah. Some of this was just radar estimates, so fairly dry at the ground level. Looking at lightning, we had no lightning across the Great Basin. Our fire activity, new starts in the red, starting to see things developing in the south. This is the time of year that southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, southern Utah start drying out, so some ignitions through here are relatively small, and a scattering here up in the Wasatch where we had some lightning the last couple of days, and starting to pop up across extreme southwest Idaho, areas that might have missed out on the significant rains over the weekend. Looking at precipitation over the past 7 days, you can see the brighter green areas and the darker blue especially. Those are amounts that are quarter inch, half inch, 3/4, scattered out across much of our areas across Idaho. Fairly light into Wyoming. It was more the higher humidity over a 3 or 4 day period which really tempered their fuels. But we also had significant precipitation across eastern Utah, going down into the Arizona Strip. And over the past 30 days, still lots of areas across north central Nevada and southwest Nevada that have not had precipitation in the past month. Our heaviest amounts in the south and now also in the north. Now, what's really interesting, when you look at our ERCs, you can see how much tempering we've had. Lots of greens and yellows, 50th to 60th percent range. Our banana belt, where we still have ERCs in the 80th to near 90th percentiles, it'll stretch from the Tetons stretching down through parts of southern Idaho and into a larger portion of central Nevada. So that's where we're kind of focusing on things if any significant weather pops up in the next couple of days. A look at our satellite imagery and upper level maps. We do see a very tight packing of these height lines here, a sign of the times as stronger jet streams now come out of the Gulf of Alaska and the North Pacific. So becoming quite breezy over the next couple of days up here in the north, where we did see lots of rain. Further to the south, the remnants of that Pacific hurricane is now pushing northwards and could come close to the Arizona Strip. We'll wait and see, but most of the deeper moisture and the rainfall should remain to the south. Otherwise, we'll be watching Pacific high pressure being the dominant feature across the west. So taking a look at this afternoon, we see on the left the strong belt of westerly winds with the tight packing of the height lines. Still fairly high humidity there given by the black areas. It's this drier punch of air across central Nevada where our fuels are the driest. We'll have to watch a little bit. On the right hand side, you see those dryness levels in the brown, the only areas that are significantly critical at this time period. Weather conditions for today. On the right hand side, you see the wind gusts this afternoon, fairly light overall. We're seeing lots of yellows and light greens. Those are 10 to 15 mile an hour gusts, which is basically below normal. On the left hand side, you can see where the humidity is the driest, single digits to near 10% across a good portion of Nevada and parts of central western Utah. Higher, more like 25 to 30% in our northern areas. Looking down the road for Thursday, Pacific high pressure building on in. We're seeing drier air given by these tannish shades pushing into a bigger chunk of our area. So some of that dryness expands across Nevada, but still staying in the green moist category in Idaho. It's going to take many days to start chinking away at the high humidity and precipitation that we had up there. Weather-wise, on the right-hand side, you see wind starting to increase across the Snake River Plain and into some of the high terrain of eastern Idaho with some of these gusts and these pinkish shades of 35 to 40 miles per hour. More like 15 to 25 miles per hour across northeastern Nevada, where some of the fuels are fairly dry. I'll have to watch that a little bit. Also getting quite gusty down in southern Utah. On Friday, the wind slackened off. You see the distance between these height lines starts weakening. We see drier air pushing into the entire Great Basin, into northern areas as well. So you start to see those greens turn to yellows and our significant fire potential up through there. Still very dry across Nevada and still moisture hanging into our southern and eastern areas. On Friday, still humidity, single digits to low 10% range across Nevada, but drying out just about everywhere else. On the right-hand side, you do see the wind slackening off quite a bit. That grayish shade is 0 to 5 miles per hour, the yellow 5 to 10, so no significant issues there. Precipitation, not expecting much of anything across our area during the next 3 days, at least on the larger scale. Going down the road, Saturday, drier air punching in with the stronger westerly flow. No significant moisture coming in, although stuff is starting to approach from Arizona. You can see we're still drying out gradually on our significant fire potential chart. Let's go to Sunday. Still breezy. We see our trough of low pressure, initially dry, starting to drop down out of the Pacific Northwest. And if we go to Monday, that trough sharpens, and notice this green area now appearing across parts of northwest Nevada into southern Idaho. That's that trough actually intensifying and wrapping in some moisture, so we could start seeing showers across these areas. And this is kind of our banana belt area where the ERCs are the driest. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And by Tuesday, a closed low forms over Nevada, and this could be cloudy, gray, and showery. You see on the left-hand side, a good portion of northern Nevada goes from brown to yellow, and that's if this shower cooler scenario plays out. Precipitation expectations for the whole 7-day. You can see this activity across Nevada into parts of southern Idaho. The second shade of green is about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain, and maybe some local pockets of higher amounts, and that would really knock out fuels if in those areas if that happens. That's one of the main areas that still is fairly critical. Our longer range outlook shows a significant warming trend across much of the west, and also on the right-hand side, drying, pushing into much of Idaho, into northern Nevada. Some moisture creeping up to southeastern Utah, so this could start drying things out across Idaho. We'll have to see how that plays out. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.